You can take your pumpkin recipes to the next level with this one simple trick. Hey there, I'm Lynn Brazil from Evolving Table. We're all about making doable and delicious recipes that are also healthy for you. And today I wanted to go over with you how to make pumpkin puree. Okay, y'all, I've been saying puree for like the last 30 minutes. So, pumpkin puree from scratch. Whether your grocery store runs out of it because it's the day before Thanksgiving, or let's be real, you just want to tell that relative of yours that that pumpkin pie they're drooling over, you made completely from scratch. So if you're ready to get to cooking, then come on in and let's get started. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. There are a ton of different pumpkin varieties to choose from at your grocery store. But a quick word of caution, the type of pumpkin that's best for baking will not be found sitting outside on that curbside display. No, those are actually decorative pumpkins and taste pretty terrible. The one you're looking for will be inside in the produce section, and it's normally found next to the other winter squash. So the butternut squash, acorn, and spaghetti squash. Once you locate those pumpkins, look at the labels and find one that either says pie pumpkin or sugar pumpkin. They are typically somewhere between 2 to 4 pounds and make about 1 cup of puree per pound of pumpkin. We'll first start by cutting our pumpkin in half. It's always best and easiest if you use a freshly sharpened knife and a cutting board that doesn't slide around. Look for one with these awesome little grips on the bottom. There are actually 2 different ways that you can do this. You can choose whichever one is either the easiest or the most comfortable for you. The first way is to cut the pumpkin down the middle, stopping just before you get to the stem. Place your thumbs between the 2 halves and pull the pumpkin apart. This is much easier to do than trying to cut through the stem with your knife. Make a few incisions at the base of the stem and then snap it off by hand. The second way, cut and remove the stem end. Flip the pumpkin over so it is flat side down, and then cut the pumpkin in half. Once you have the pumpkin open, you'll see that it has a lot of seeds and strings inside. You'll want to remove all of these before cooking the pumpkin in the oven. To do this, use a large spoon with a relatively sharp edge. Scoop out and remove the seeds and the strands. Guys, I've got a stage 5 clinger here. My seeds and my strands are being just a little bit difficult. Unlike spaghetti squash and butternut squash, I feel like those seeds just scoop right on out. But pumpkin seeds, for some reason, maybe it's just me, they tend to be a little more difficult to get out. So this is where the edge of that spoon, you know, the one that's kind of sharp, it really comes in handy. You're gonna take that edge and actually scrape along the insides of your pumpkin, and this will help to release those strands so you can easily scoop out the seeds. And if you wanna know how to roast all of these up in the oven so they don't go to waste, you can learn how to make these roasted pumpkin seeds. The next thing you're gonna do is just drizzle on 1 teaspoon of either olive or avocado oil over each of the halves. Rub it in so the entire inner surface of the pumpkin half is coated. Sprinkle each half with a pinch or about 1/8 teaspoon of salt. The salt helps to bring out and complement the natural sweetness of the pumpkin while it is roasting. Line a large baking sheet with a piece of parchment paper. Make sure the pan is large enough to fit both of the halves and has a rim around the edge to catch any juices that might run off. Also, don't use aluminum foil. It tends to stick to the pumpkin. Place both halves of the pumpkin cut side down onto the baking sheet. Bake pumpkin in preheated 400-degree oven for 40 to 60 minutes. Depending on the size, you may need to cook the pumpkin for a shorter or longer length of time. You'll know the pumpkin is done cooking when the edges begin to caramelize and the insides are cooked through. You'll also notice the skin begins to pull away from the flesh on the edges of the pumpkin. Let the pumpkin sit at room temperature until it is safe to touch. Now that our pumpkin is cooked, it's just time to remove all of the flesh from the skin. The first way is pretty common, and it's to use a large spoon and scrape along the sides of the skin to remove all of the pumpkin that you can. This way works pretty good, but I find that you still end up with a lot of that pumpkin flesh stuck to the skin. So a second method that I recently discovered that's actually pretty easy to do is you just keep the pumpkins face side down, pinch the skin until it pulls away from the flesh. Peel back the skin until all of it is removed. Add the pumpkin flesh to a large food processor or a high-speed blender such as a Vitamix or a NutriBullet. Process for 2 to 3 minutes, scraping down the sides of the bowl every 20 to 30 seconds. The pumpkin puree is done when it is completely smooth and there are no lumps remaining. You can store homemade puree in the refrigerator for up to 4 to 5 days, or you can use it all up in these easy pumpkin recipes. Thanks so much for hanging out, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.